Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Tyler.
We have Derrick Adams returning with us. What's up, Derrick?
What's up, sinners?
And today we're going to do the Star Trek franchise.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life forms and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Sinners, Star Trek Beyond is out in theaters now. Not directed by J.J. Abrams, but Justin Lin, new to the franchise. Kind of known for the Fast movies, right? Like 4 through 7.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't watch them.
I think it was 3 through 6.
What, did he do 3 as well?
Well, he didn't do 7.
He didn't do 7. That's right. That was James Wan. So Justin Lin, familiar with action movies. And we've seen Star Trek Beyond. Cinamen, yeah. Derrick, starting with you, round table. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I liked it, but I think the other two were better.
So you are this is at the bottom of the
three,
trilogy
yeah.
here. Okay. Are you just a J.J. Abrams fan?
You
just don't care for this new guy? Are you biased?
Not so much bias. I just I had regular expectations going into the movie, and when I watched it, I enjoyed it, but it just felt different. I didn't get the same vibe like I did from the first two.
What about you, Nick?
Well, right away with the first or any of the trailers, it just didn't. I think I talked to you guys probably about this. It didn't pull me in like I wanted it to. So I really enjoyed the first two. This one I liked, but not as much.
Okay. See, I'm with you actually. When I first saw the trailer for this one, the first one, I wasn't drawn in. I didn't want to see it.
Just nothing exciting to me.
Right.
But the second one I was real pumped up for. The first one, I wasn't a Trekkie yet. I'm sorry, sinners. I know. But, I was looking really forward to this one, especially with the writer change and everything, director change. And it didn't do it for me.
What about you, Tyler?
I think I'm going to like this episode. There's going to be a lot of contrast because I'd probably put it at the top.
I guess I'm the other oddball out here. I actually put it in the middle. I actually have 2 at the bottom for me.
Okay. Well, 2 is definitely at the bottom.
You think 2 is at?
2 is so far at the bottom. 2 is definitely the worst.
It sounds like you really hate 2.
I don't hate 2. It definitely wasn't as good as 1 or 3.
See, and I think 3 is slightly above 2. So I can't say that I hate.
I think
2 all
3
that much.
excels where 2 doesn't, but 2 I can say the same for 2 against 3, but only in certain spots.
Right.
I certainly think number 2 is funnier.
Number 3?
I didn't think number 3 brought the laughs like the other 2 did, which bummed me because, like I said, Simon Pegg took over writing, and I was like, "This is gonna be hilarious, right?" Shaun of the Dead. No, I just didn't have that much laughs. Did you guys?
I actually thought this one was funnier than number 2.
Oh my gosh!
See, and
why?
I thought that was opposite for me because right off the bat I was like, man, this really seems like it's trying too hard to be funny.
So you didn't think it was as funny?
I didn't think
either?
it was as funny either.
And
I just wasn't worried about the comedy aspect of it.
I
went for a sci-fi action movie, and that's what I got.
True. The visuals, I was a lot more blown away with this movie than I thought it would be. But I went with Cinaman's Tyler and Derrick Adams, and I think Tyler heard me laughing out loud a bit. I laughed out loud more on this one than I did probably with both of them. But I've seen the first one a lot, so I can't discredit its humor. It's just I've seen it so much, it's not LOL funny to me anymore.
Yeah, I had a few probably hearty chortles, but it just didn't.
A good meaty chuckle.
Yeah, from the heart. But other than that, no, I was just it was bleak, and I was bummed.
See, I definitely thought, at least Chris, I thought you would be really into it because I know you like ensemble films. Was that you that was saying that?
Yeah, I am.
And this was definitely the most ensemble film out of all 3.
We got a whole lot of Kirk and his crew, right?
You got a lot of the crew, and you got to see each one of their strengths, each one of their weaknesses. You got different pairings.
They got paired off in an odd form, which was awesome.
You got to kind of, I want to say wrap up, but that's not the word. Go to down a new path with the whole Spock and Bones.
You got to boldly go where no
Zachary
one's
Quinto
not.
and Carl Urban, respectively. You got to go down a path with them that you haven't got to see before. Them two bonding and playing off each other, and I thought all of it in this movie was hilarious. Because all throughout the first two, Carl Urban's like Oh man, that could be worse. You know, then Spock could spit out some logical bullshit line like, you know, well, probably Doctor, but you know, we'd have been eaten alive by mandrakes and you know whatever, and he's just like, oh, well, that's comfortable. You know, like in this one, they're stuck together. He's having to take care of Spock. I thought the whole dynamic was awesome, so I was totally on board with that.
I liked it as well. I fully enjoyed like those two, their pairing. I guess like I got a lot out of their pairing, and same thing with Scotty and Jayla. Like I liked their pairing a lot.
Jayla,
too.
that's the chick with the white.
Yeah, like the alien chick that's helping him.
She was awesome. She was definitely my favorite in the whole movie.
She was a great addition to this film. They needed another good guy that could be new and interesting and make you want to be drawn in, and she was awesome as Jayla.
It was weird. I initially was kind of very hesitant about her, about I guess a character like that being in the movie. I have no problems with her. She's actually kind of up and on the go now. She'll be playing the Mummy in the Universal Monsters cinematic universe next year. Yeah, so she's the Mummy. It's a female.
You saw
Sophia
Kingsman?
Boutella.
So are we gonna see an uprise like we did with Ghostbusters about the gender swap?
Like villains now.
I think more people are upset that Tom Cruise is in it more than
Tom Cruise is in it.
Tom Cruise is in
See,
it.
that's exactly the negative attitude we don't
even
need.
you were
Tyler.
right
But
there.
see, here's they're setting it in modern times, so they're making that transition. They're trying to switch things around. To
Yeah,
where
they're not
work.
out to remake Brendan Fraser's
Yeah.
Mummy. That's awesome alone as it is.
Yes.
They're out to bring it to new heights, right?
Either way, it's not relevant. We're talking about Sophia Boutella.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Anyways.
But she did awesome as Jayla, and I guess I thought from the trailers at first that she was one of Krall's like race or species, but she's not, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Because
She
No, she is not.
spoiler.
Remember her-
We're going to be covering them.
Right,
Yeah.
Sinners, sorry. We heavy spoilers from here on out. And before this, sorry.
Don't say we didn't warn you. I threw
Well, I
it
don't
in
think
there.
we threw anything.
Not
Out.
yet, but we
Not
were.
yet.
I thought
Well,
we started.
we
to
definitely
dip.
let them on that they got a lot of funniness coming with Bones and Spock. So I'm really sorry I told you that. That's something you should have figured out.
I just want to make sure we didn't dip, cross the line.
Right.
We wanted to throw it out.
Spoilers here on out. Be prepared. Heads up. 7 up. So, we were talking about. You were talking about Simon Pegg and Jayla. Is that what we were
Yeah, they
just discussing? Their dynamic, right? Their storyline in the film.
Their on-screen badassery.
I liked it, and I almost feel like Simon Pegg ramped up his, because I feel like he was just dropping funny lines this whole movie, and he also helped write this one, right? Like he's got a screenwriting credit on this one.
I
Him
was
and
under
the
the
guy,
understanding that he's
James
the main
Wong.
writer.
I thought he was helping.
I think
him and
it's-
Doug June wrote it.
Yeah, Doug.
Okay, well, all right. So he is the
Or Doug Jung.
He's basically
I
the
don't really know.
screenwriter.
Something.
Correct me.
But I almost
sinners.
felt like he doubled down on his humor. Like, might as well give myself a little more, screen time.
Why
in
wouldn't
here.
you? You know.
Yeah, if you're, and I think he's one of those. When he said the first Star Trek was casting, he said he called J.J. Abrams asking for a role. That's how bad he wanted to be in it, and he does so good at it. Right, that accent is so.
I want to hear it. Like he's.
Yeah,
I
just want to hear him keep talking. He's
Yeah.
funny. He's got a funny accent. Not a funny accent. It's funny to hear. I'm not making.
And it doesn't matter who he's on screen with. He shines. Like he's
He's a
that little
steam
dude he
stealer.
always comes around with. That he's always get down.
That little ugly alien thing he's
Yeah.
with.
You eat like a bean, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, Lassie?
He just brings it.
Yeah.
Speaking of accents, did Chekhov seem a little off a little bit on his accent? Like there's a couple times I was like, man, you don't sound like you did from the first two. He sounded
didn't notice anything.
kind of shaky.
I didn't notice anything either, but it's also they've been together like 6 years since the first movie, so
Yeah, that's true. I guess the
3 years in the academy, and they're like 3 years deep on this voyage. So
Right. Yeah. This
It
Sinners. This
could've
picks up.
influenced his.
This
accent
this
or
picks
something.
up 3 years from the very end of Star Trek 2 when they are talking about they're starting a 5-year mission. This is 3 years into that mission.
They're
So
the
this
first
is almost
crew
like
to do this.
This is, I want to say a direct sequel, but it's it's streamlined sequel. It picks up in the middle of number 2. It's nothing random. The only thing random we didn't get was there's no Alice Eve, who was clearly joining the crew at the end of the second one, and they don't say anything about her in this one. And I hate when movies can't even do me a favor and drop one goddamn line. Just to sum that up, all you need is one line.
I didn't really even notice.
neither did I, unfortunately. But now that I'm thinking about it now, you've had time to reflect.
I thought it was weird that going into the movie, I wondered if she was going to be there. But she didn't need to be, and I'm glad she wasn't. But she didn't need to be in the second one either.
Well, from what I've heard, most people consider the second one unnecessary. Like, if you just saw 1 and 3, you're all right. Like, talking to you guys has surprised me how much you guys like the second one, because everything I've heard is just people bashing on the second.
I think I don't know. I like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot. The guy is just amazing at, like, everything he does. And he's in everything now, right?
Yeah, he's huge now. Academy Award nominee?
Yeah. And now Doctor Strange, Smaug, right? He's
one of the newest entries into the MCU.
Yeah,
he's great. He's a great actor. He's in a lot of stuff, Sherlock and all that, but that doesn't make him good in this movie.
I don't know, man. Like him as Khan was pretty intense. Like, have you seen the original Wrath of Khan? It's George Hamilton burnt to a crisp with long, like, bleach white hair, like a mullet. It's horrible. He played Khan perfectly. I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. I thought he did perfect. He was menacing. He was cold. He was calculated. Way better than I've ever seen him before.
I don't know. The second one just didn't grab me. And I can't even give you like a reason why I didn't like it. I just remember watching the first one and just having this feeling of like, wow, this is an amazing movie. I just, you get to the end and you're like, that was a fun ride. And then I watched 2, and the next day I was like, what even happened in that movie? Like, I cared about it so little that I couldn't even remember what happened.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said, like, 3 has the writing up on number 2. Or at least the functionality of it, I guess. I don't know. And number 2, I liked the real quick banter when Kirk and Spock, they just saved the red planet from the volcano. They're getting their lecture from Admiral Pike. That whole scene is just hilarious to me, and they're back and forth. It's so fast. Pike is trying to lay down the law. Kirk is being Kirk.
It was fine. I really didn't like we're taking your ship away. Oh, here's your ship back. Like, just like immediate.
Yeah. So there was definitely some unnecessary stuff there, and 3 was definitely more fluid, and organic of things.
So it was. So all I'm hearing you say is that 3 was the superior movie, but I like 2 better.
It was the dynamic of number 2.
I think it always comes down to preference, but I do enjoy 2 more than I did 3.
Yeah.
It was the dynamic of Spock and Kirk in the second one that I was, like, undrawn to. You already had the first one where they had to, like, we start off not friends, then we're friends, right? That's the end of the movie. And so this one, you started off again with them, like, having friendship problems because Spock is logical and Kirk is a gut feeling kind of guy. And then, you just, we're going to take your ship away. Even though you just lost your friend, oh, no, wait, something happened. Here it is.
Take it back.
Yeah. Pike conveniently died after, your ship got taken away. Guess you're the captain again. I was like, what? I know he's a victim of the, like, Khan's, bomb or whatever. But you didn't need to do the whole...
Seems like you're unnecessarily playing with people's emotions.
Who, me?
No, the movie.
Oh, the writing.
Well, hey, I said it had. I said it had flaws.
I just didn't like. I didn't like. Just from the start, that whole aspect of we're gonna have a little friendship quarrel, patch up, and then the movie's gonna continue. I was like, no, they sealed that friendship.
Yeah,
shit
the relationship was way more interesting in the third one. Like, they've built this relationship. They're definitely friends. They want to go to different places in their career, but they still, have that connection to each other. And then obviously, spoilers in the end, they're still buddies and they're still working.
I don't know. Number 2 is their journey to friendship. So I think it only makes sense that number 3.
I thought 1 was their journey to friendship.
I think number 1 was just putting their differences aside. Like
that was them on the path.
Yeah,
right.
But at the end of 1, wasn't he making sure Spock was on his ship?
Well, but that's because
he went out of his way.
He's good at his job.
That's true, I guess.
And Spock definitely can hold his own. I don't think he was trying to deny that. But I definitely think number 2 opened up their friendship. They even talk about it. He's like, I saved your life and you wrote a report. And the truth is I'm going to miss you and all this stuff. And Spock's like,
I'm not...
What? That's what it feels like. And Ahora, I think is her name, Nyota. She totally grills Spock on their way to the Klingon planet. About that, how Spock should, people care about him and he has friends. I don't know. So I agree that with what you're saying, but I think that groundwork was laid for it. I don't think it's anything that 3 just conjured up, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
On that note, I like how each film has... You start to see more humanization of Spock, right? His human half come more into effect. Number 2, right? The first one, he's establishing that relationship with Ahura, right? And the second one, they're fighting. That was what he said was going on? Yeah, they're having, like relationship quarrels. And then the third one, Kirk and Spock have both matured a little bit, and they're both seeking ways out of Starfleet, right? They want to, like a family and a life, and to go do your own thing, and not
To
be in the shadow of
Vulcan.
your father.
Yeah, Spock wanted to go repopulate Vulcan, right?
Yeah.
New Vulcan,
Yeah,
whatever they
but
call
he
it.
was talking
So
about
a family
with
without Ahura.
I thought he wanted to take.
No, they were broken up at the beginning.
Well, he said that he mentioned something to her about like
Oh,
children.
I thought he just hadn't
and it
talked to her
upset
about it.
No, I think they were on their way out. And then
I thought it meant like he was leaving Uhura to go back to New
yeah,
Vulcan.
yeah,
Oh, was he leaving her?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
I
I was
thought
with
he-
you. I
yeah,
thought he
I
said
thought he
something
was-
about Ahura wants children, but I'm committed. Well, no.
Oh, I thought
guess
he
That
wanted
was him.
children.
That
She
was him
didn't,
making the logical
and
decision
she-
instead of the emotional
Ooh,
decision.
okay. Anyways, he is still looking for a way out of Starfleet. Wants to repopulate. Blah blah blah. Him and Kirk both, and then obviously at the end they're both like, "We're signing on for more years, baby. Oh yeah, like 5 more years of Kirk." And goddamn, I feel bad for the Enterprise. Like, Jesus, in 3 movies you've had like 4 ships.
They
Something
really
like
go
that.
through
Like,
hell with those things. Yeah.
God, yeah. How much does it
Starfleet's
cost?
like, do it, rack up another one.
How does
charge
Starfleet
us.
make that much money to keep building all these spaceports and like just have thousands of warships and starships and all these other things?
Taxes.
because they don't have money. They don't have money in their future.
Who?
In the Star Trek universe, they don't have money.
They don't have currency or something?
Nope.
What do you mean?
They don't have anything. It's pretty much all kind of paid for. They might have some kind of credit, but they don't have currency. I don't think at all.
Is it
like
just
money.
Starfleet and the Federation,
I think
or
it's
like nobody?
I think it's just the Federation because that's part of like their code or their law. But they don't have any money at all.
I didn't know going into the franchise, or I don't want to say the third one. The franchise, each colored shirt meant something different. I guess I'd never really thought about it. I just thought it was like, you like yellow, blue, or red, son? Oh,
Yeah.
Red's my favorite color. I'll take that one. But it's like, no. And each insignia has like a smaller
Something else.
thing telling them
Yeah.
what they're doing. Because Simon Pegg's like,
yeah, we need a
I'm in the
Trekkie who
engineering
can
division,
really like
you know,
break
like,
this shit
yeah.
down.
In the TV show, which is also, I mean, obviously similar to the movies, but like in the TV show, there were some episodes with like Spock would have like a different shirt on. He would have like I think a red shirt on. Like I don't know if that's just because he took over the duties at that station or whatever the hell that level is, or if they just costume problems.
So do you know what the different colors mean?
I know that's almost
well,
anything yellow is almost like an officer. It's like a high ranking officer, like a pilot.
Sulu wears them.
Pilot. Anybody who deals with
Chekhov.
anything, Chekhov, he does it. Captain. Can't think of anybody else really who has yellow.
So
all the reds are like
Mechanical, engineering.
more or less. You have engineering. And I think you have like probably like electronics.
Well,
or
so
something
dealing
like
with
that.
Scotty wears one. Ahura wears a red one. But you just see her on like a console.
Who? Ahura?
Ahura?
Yeah, she
Well,
has
I
her
guess-
one. She's on a console, but she's part of like that.
Okay.
But I don't know.
she's-
But Spock
she-
wears blue. But so does
So it's
Bones. He's a doctor, so I don't know. I don't know if the colors are really a significance,
Smart
or
pe-
if it's more of it's just of like the
Smart
the
people
sig-
wear
It's
blue.
Alice Eve wore a blue one in number 2.
But it was like a different blue, wasn't it? It was like a darker
I thought it was
blue,
just like a.
shader blue.
But
I
she
thought
was
it
a
was
doctor.
the same.
She was a doctor too.
Yeah,
That's true. She was
scientist doctor.
RoboCop's daughter.
I don't know, man. Like it's
Well,
Here it
says
number
that,
2, didn't like Frank Welker.
you didn't like
No,
Frank-
not Frank Welker. Peter
Weller.
Peter
Frank
Weller.
Welker.
Yeah, I don't know. That came out of nowhere. Peter Weller, RoboCop. Didn't like him at all.
I felt like he wasn't
I was
really
like,
needed,
who was he?
but he wasn't horrible.
He
I
was
thought.
the
He's the admiral.
he was the
Admiral
admiral
Marcus.
who had
Admiral
Oh
Right.
yeah, he was fine.
who had the beef / not beef with Khan and whatever that was going on.
Yeah,
I
so
just-
he wanted to start a Klingon war. Like
he was so bent on this war that was coming, like he's fucking Game of Thrones or something. And then
So he's like, I want to make it happen. Even
yeah,
Well, it sounds
Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh, he didn't like what Cumberbatch was doing with making weapons and shit, right?
Well, I think because in the second one, because he says that he finds him adrift. He wakes him up and
to make weapons. And
to
shit.
make weapons, yeah,
Right,
to
'cause he has
weaponize
high
him more or
intellect.
less because
Okay.
he's
Superior.
superior in pretty much everything. So he's trying to use him as like a weapon, and I think basically it just ends up backfiring on him. And then as like a contingency, he takes his Spock's crew and like holds him hostage and is like, "Hey, you gotta do this." And then obviously he ends up escaping, doing his terrorist act, and that's when he's like, "Oh, we got to bring the war to this guy because he's screwing everything up."
He finds him on that.
He finds him out, I think, out drifting in
that
space.
What's that? What's the alien race? That planet? It was
Kronos.
Kronos.
Kronos, the
Klingons.
planet. Klingons. I was thinking
Klingons.
Romulans. Klingons. You're right. And then he just, oh hey Kirk, because you want to get him back for killing your captain. Here's these torpedoes, right, or bombs or whatever they
torpedoes.
are, and blow them up. Then he didn't know the bodies were in there. Peter Weller didn't know.
Yeah, no, I think he knew that they were in there, and he was going to use, like, he was going to kill
it was
them
just
to
gonna
kill
look like,
Khan.
oh, Kirk killed his crew and
He was basically just tying up loose ends. Like, he was going to get rid of
Taking
Khan
everybody
and his
out at
crew,
once.
yeah,
Right.
Khan and the crew of
and
the
then
Enterprise.
this inevitable war would have been started.
Yes.
Okay. All to try out the ship Khan built you. That's just like the Enterprise, but twice as fast and black.
And it's like...
It's bigger,
gargantuan.
too.
Yeah, twice the size.
There's a lot of
yeah,
things.
sorry.
They
Well,
say,
it was built for attacking.
Yeah, it's
straight
just
combat.
it's just straight combat. That's what they
and
said.
it can be piloted by one.
Did you say you found out what the shirts mean?
Yeah.
It says here, command and helm personnel wear green/gold shirts. Operations, engineering, and security wear red. Science and medical personnel wear blue. All
Makes
with
sense.
black collars.
Makes
and
sense, except for
undershirts.
Ahora. I almost think she should probably be blue, right?
Well, I don't know because she's
She
what
has
like
to
she's
be
like
She's
the,
a linguistics.
Yeah, she's like
person.
linguistics.
That has nothing to do with mechanics.
Means you got a talented tongue.
But I think she might also be like their like course and plotter. Like she's the one who navigates them too, maybe also. So maybe that has something to do with it.
No, I thought. Well,
Because I think she does kind of both.
ooh.
But I mean, there's like 8 billion people on the fucking bridge, anyways.
Before I forget, I thought about this while we were watching the third one.
Is
What
this
happened?
Is this the timeline issue?
No, I will bring that up.
Okay, we're coming up to that.
What happened to Chekhov's ability to beam people out of just nowhere? Like in the third movie, they needed him to beam someone. He's like, well, they're moving. I can't get them. But in the first one, as they were falling at terminal velocity, he was able to catch their signal and teleport them. Like all of a sudden, in the second and the third one, he just loses that super teleporting.
Maybe he doesn't want to do it because of what happened with Spock's mom. Like he did, like he
that's
tried,
true,
but
yeah.
she fell. And even
Well,
though it
then
wasn't his fault,
I think they would have
maybe
said
he just
something if
thinks
that was the motivation. Because he didn't lose Spock's mom because she was moving. He lost her because she was stationary, and then all of a sudden she moved. While they're already moving, and he knows they're moving.
Maybe in the first one, when he does it, they're falling, right? Like
Yeah.
falling straight down.
Yeah.
Maybe he can, because
If they have
it's
a
basically
trajectory.
hitting, gonna hit where they're gonna be, right?
Yeah,
On the
but
little
as you
screen.
move your arms and stuff as you're falling, you
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah, they're not like skydiving down.
Maybe Simon Pegg should have paid more attention writing the script.
Well, the second one had the same problem, so don't.
Well, you know what? We're gonna blame J.J. Abrams.
What problem did
That's
the
his
second
fault
one
for not watching.
I
that
think
shit.
there was another time when he could have beamed someone, but just didn't. I might be reaching. I might be trying to defend the third one.
I think you're just trying to attack my
Sinners, let me
choice
know.
Let us know what you think about Chekhov's problem with beaming people everywhere and not everywhere, and
Maybe that's why he drinks.
So we all agreed the first is the best, right? Or you said, I'm sorry, you said the third.
I don't know. It's tricky. I've seen the first one so many times that I definitely enjoyed the third one more this time around. I don't know if it was because it was a better movie or just because, it's new and flashy and I was actually in the theater and.
Well, my point was, why is it a better movie?
The first
what
one?
made the first one so good? What turned you and me from didn't give a crap about any Trek movies, and now I am very much into these?
Well, I remember when seeing trailers for the first one coming out in 2009, and I remember thinking to myself, like, Jesus, a Star Trek movie? This is gonna suck. I don't want to see this. I have no interest in seeing this. Forget this movie. And the more people kept telling me, like, oh, have you seen Star Trek? Because it's awesome.
Nobody would shut
Star
up,
Trek is
right?
so good.
Everybody was on it.
It was all over social media. And finally, I remember just dragging my ex-girlfriend, like, we're going to see this. Like, if you want to go on a date, we're going to see Star Trek. And I kind of went in there open-minded, right? Like, I was like, man, if everyone is telling me this is good, I guess I'm going to sit here and I'm really going to try and like it. And then it was funny. It was action-packed. It was, new at the time. It was my first dive into Star Trek. Totally blew me away.
I don't even think I saw it until it hit Netflix. And then once it hit Netflix, I was just sitting in my basement one day and decided to put it on, and
You were just hooked.
I was just hooked. It just had the right.
It had the right stuff,
know.
man.
It did, yeah. I remember you telling me when you saw it, I think you probably woke me up, I think, and you were like, dude, I saw Star Trek, and I was like, 1, don't wake me up. 2, why did you see Star Trek? And you were telling me it was so good, and then I think I got the DVD or something and watched it, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I hated admitting it that I liked it.
Had you seen the other Star Trek when you saw this new one, 2009? Had you seen the other ones? So you were kind of like, I've seen I've seen the other Apes movies, so I'm gonna watch these new ones. Or were you going in out, just like us?
I actually have seen some of the older stuff, some of the old movies, the
old TV series.
The old TV series, that kind of stuff. And I never really dabbled too much into it because I was always more of a Star Wars fan myself, personally. But once, I guess I just never could get into it as a kid. But when I saw it, it came out in 2009. I watched it, I think, like 2011, a couple years later. I borrowed it from my brother, watched it. I was like, dude, this movie is so freaking awesome. I love it. And then I started getting into the older ones and all the other ones, pretty much just trying to get in the whole franchise. And I've seen all of it. And it's
a lot to take in.
Yeah, because like the original films, a lot of the stuff that happens in those films are portrayed in the newer films. So it's pretty cool to see that they kind of like transitioned a little bit of that stuff over, but in the same sense, it's cool that they're still keeping it like new and fresh.
Right.
But the first one, man, I saw it and I was like, dude, this movie's great. I know it's Abrams did a great job. It was like you said, it was funny, it was action packed. I loved it. So yeah, I was probably instantly hooked.
That's awesome, man. Which of our 3 villains, Eric Bana, Benedict Cumberbatch, Idris Elba, right? Which of the 3 did you like most? Because I didn't care for Idris Elba that much.
I actually wasn't too impressed with his performance either.
He was the one in the third one?
Yeah, Crawl.
I thought he was fine.
I thought he was fine.
Like, especially when you first see him, I loved his basic understanding of English, even though I guess he was human to begin with. But I don't know. I liked his voice. I liked his.
I was gonna say I think I actually liked him more as an alien more than I did seeing him transition throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, as a human, it was like.
Yeah, it was kind of like what? I don't understand.
But it never said how he even turned into that weird
creature,
cactus freaking face.
I think it mentioned it.
Well, he.
All I caught was him and his 2 dudes that looked just like him were the last of his crew, right? Edison, whatever his nuts is, because somehow he ended up there, and he's like hundreds of years old, because he somehow zaps energy from his live prisoners. Still not really sure about that. It was kind of like a Frankenstein
I thought they mentioned
thing.
it, like they said something on the planet.
If they did, I missed it.
Something was already on the planet when he was doing that transmission. Like they watched the old tape, like his last transmission on the ship, and it seemed like he said something.
He said something about how there was alien technology left over on the planet, and the aliens there had found a way to
restore their youth or something.
Have sustainable life for long periods of time.
Right, that covers that question, but not about him turning into.
But as I was sitting here thinking, maybe he has to turn into that almost species for it to work. Maybe he has to make that transition.
Takes
into
characteristics from whoever he's sapping.
Oh, that too. That could be possible. They never. Oh, that's another thing. They just never explained it enough for us to really get a clear answer.
They really didn't explain it, but I didn't feel like it took away from.
No, you're right. I'm one of those guys that I'm always asking. I'm curious. I wish they would have. This is interesting to me. I wish they had said something else about this as opposed to something else I didn't give a shit about.
If it wasn't Idris Elba, then who was your favorite villain? Bad guy.
Khan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the highlights for number 2. Benedict Cumberbatch is, like you said, he's intense. Even in, a human, non-alien form, like Nero or Crawl, he was I was like...
Does anyone else have a problem just with Eric Bana being in Star Trek? It was so weird to me.
I feel like he went for a really big-name draw for a villain, and
we got Eric Bana.
Not that means why you'd even get Eric Bana, who hasn't done anything successful.
Was he Nero?
He was Nero, yeah.
He was Nero. And I think he is hated amongst Star Trek fans because he was really kind of... I didn't think he was all that bland, but everyone else is like, he's bland, He's boring. He's a Romulan.
He's a Romulan.
He's a
He's a
Romulan,
Romulan.
yeah.
Right. So he is a familiar Star Trek.
Yeah, they've had
alien
aliens with them
species.
before.
I didn't. I think it was more amusing. You know, he's like, "Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero." You know, and you're like, odd. Odd is the word I'd use.
Yeah.
He was
didn't have any
definitely
problem.
When he
strange.
says Spock, there's something weird about like his mouth
Spock.
that always bugs me.
Spock.
Yeah, like he almost puts like a little like
Like a lot
hawk
of
on
hawk.
it.
You know, like-
he uses like a Stallone slur. when
Yeah,
he speaks it.
he does. Like his mouth totally like hits left field. Like it was just weird. So yeah, I agree. Khan, I think.
I like his ink. Maybe
Some
Nero,
sweet tats.
maybe Nero can hook me up with his tattoo artist.
I like his little like right hand guy. He's like the little dude from Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were all pretty even for me.
yeah, but which one was the best? Though?
I really can't.
Yeah, but if you really had to
Pick one.
choose
If
just
there was
one,
one, you had to pick.
I'm just busting your chops.
I don't know.
Your chops
But
were
seriously,
busted.
if you had to choose just one to be the best.
I don't know.
We're gonna need a Senna answer right now.
I got nothing.
Sinners, comment on who you think Tyler's favorite villain was, because we definitely agree. This in the studio, we think in here it's probably Khan.
We're all gonna go with Khan. in here.
But changing conversation before Tyler can agree with us. You the other day pointed out a timeline problem,
Yeah.
and I think the answer is this isn't a timeline problem like they said in the first one. It's more of a alternate dimension,
Yeah, after you
parallel
guys
dimension.
left, I was kind of thinking about it.
yeah, we're on
my-
the Kelvin timeline.
My
right?
uh,
That's what they call it.
What?
This
My-
is called
hold
the-
on, hold on.
This
What?
is this universe is called the Kelvin
in the,
timeline.
in the movies.
Yeah, this universe.
No,
Stardate.
not in the movies. They don't. Kirk is not going to be like, we're in the Kelvin timeline. No, we know it as the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, the
it's known
timeline
as-
in the
'cause
movies
That's
is
where
what in the
of the
Yes.
movies.
of the
no.
all right. Stardate 2559.25, whatever he says. Like,
Well,
That's
regardless
probably
of the
pretty
year,
close.
it's a whole nother time.
okay, right, gotcha. We're in the Kelvin
because
timeline.
that's
Do
the
they
point
say-
in
It has a
time
name.
that altered was
What's-
when the Kelvin ship met Nero's ship. That's why it's
so
called
there's
the
two
Kelvin
different
universe.
dimensions.
Right.
We haven't
like,
even gotten to
the old series in the movies were one timeline.
Yes.
This is the Kelvin timeline.
Well, the problem that I had was when Spock goes back in time, right? Meets old Spock. Or young Spock. So old Spock and young Spock meet. Just by them meeting changes everything that's going to happen from here on out. So the Spock that old Spock is talking to isn't the same Spock that he became. So they're two different people. So once Spock grows up into the future, he won't be the same Spock that came back in time. Thus, wouldn't the Spock that came back in time never have come back in time in the first place?
well, see, that's what they keep saying a timeline. But if it's
And it's
parallel dimension,
So
right?
no, yeah, two alternate timelines. I guess that would be the only way to explain it.
Yeah, it's almost like a multiverse. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah, and they really use the timeline word wrong, especially because they talk about in third one they show the picture of Leonard Nimoy's
The original crew.
the original crew.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like you said, otherwise, this timeline, I guess, is the wrong. Is that? Can we say that it's
It's what's an alternate timeline.
is an alternate timeline? It's young Spock wanted to go fulfill the shoes of old Spock as ambassador.
Yeah, but he
Right.
would have never became that same person.
No, I don't see anything wrong with him wanting to. If he's got the same intellect, right? Obviously, just different life experiences.
But see, they act like they're the same person, but at this point, they're two completely
No,
different
and I guess in
people.
the movie they're like, well, since old Spock died, you want his spot because you're like him, right? You want you because you're like him from 40 years ago. We're just gonna assume that you want his spot. We're gonna keep it on reserve for you. And I'm glad he chose not to. He chose to be his own thing.
Yeah.
And that's maybe that's why they haven't showed like
Shatner?
obviously Shatner, because Shatner's character is technically dead in the
Who
past,
cares? Shatner
or in the
sucks.
in the other universe.
He's fine.
And Spock was still alive, so maybe that's why
I just heard he was a giant
dude.
douche.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Every
That's
actor
not
has
really
their
fine to me. That
has
kind of
their deal.
sucks.
So is Chevy Chase? Are you going to go back and not like any movie that Chevy Chase has ever been in?
I don't love Chevy Chase to begin with,
But I
so
wouldn't.
I'm unaffected.
I'm fine with them choosing Leonard Nimoy.
but I hear
over-
Leonardo DiCaprio's kind of a dick. Still love him.
Yeah. See, you just proved your own point.
I just said it sucks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't say like.
Well, you said forget Shatner.
Well, I
he
mean,
sucks.
If you had to have, we got the best cameo we could get. Leonard Nimoy Spock.
for sure.
If it was
It's-
Shatner, I'd have been like,
If we're going different timelines, Zachary Quinto's Spock acting like Leonard Nimoy Spock works, but thinking that Chris Pine's Kirk is going to be Shatner's Kirk.
I see it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
You don't think so?
No.
I think
I think it fits.
It's only believable if he like really pumps the brakes
Yeah.
and like backs off.
Like,
I don't know. I think
Pine
they're
goes
both
in real guns hot.
Well, I don't know. Like in the
where
third one,
where Shatner's highs and lows are, Pine's are not
You-
reflective of that, and it's
See, I totally see it.
yeah, but you guys said that like in this one, obviously they matured quite a bit. You know, like Kirk isn't
Yeah.
like the smart ass guy.
true,
He's,
he's not
he's actually
Pike's age
more.
yet.
He's more, I guess, in control of what
Grounded.
he's doing. Yeah, he's
In space.
in space.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I think the dynamic of the movie would, be different, and I'm glad they have not dived down that path because I could live without seeing that. I'm glad they chose Spock of all the guys to pursue down that road of past self meeting future self, timeline nonsense. Shatner just would have been out of place, and I don't like that. So
He probably would have thought it was his movie and tried to take over Mutiny.
he's like, I'm going to need the biggest paycheck for the smallest role. So not like I have anything going on.
Oh, one of the things so in Star Trek Beyond, Sulu, his character is gay.
Openly gay, yes.
Openly gay. And I guess that was in like, like not commemoration, but like tribute sort of to George Takei, who is, gay in real life.
The original Sulu.
The original
Yes.
Sulu, right. I heard when he was asked about this, though, I heard he was not in favor of it.
Yeah, I heard he was.
He said Gene Roddenberry, sci-fi's or Star Trek's like creator, did not write Sulu as a gay character. Thus, he was not okay with the change. And I was kind of like, I guess I get it, but I was like, dude, like they did this for you. Now you gotta go and
I think it kind of makes sense because it's putting a spotlight. It's making gay out to be the weird thing. Like, oh, see, Sulu's gay. It's okay. It's okay. He's gay. He's gay. Look at him. He's
Well, I
gay.
would hope that by the whatever Stardate year they're in, it's not an issue, and it doesn't seem to be.
I think he
People
was
are sleeping
saying
with aliens, so like other humans. can't be too
Interspecies.
weird.
I think he's
relations.
saying I'm gay. Big deal. You didn't have to change the whole script just because I'm gay. Like
It's
it's,
just, I don't think it changes anything. I don't think
well, the way they did it didn't change anything.
because I heard they had a kissing scene and they cut the kiss out
Yeah.
because, and I don't know if that was like, oh well, to meet your
audience's standards.
yeah,
I just
Sulu
didn't,
standards.
I just didn't think that he would be against it.
I don't get why he's against it
I mean,
either.
I don't
would
think
have
Sulu in the old series was like getting girls all the time or anything anyway. So it's not like I don't think it changes anything. I just thought it was weird that he.
I see where he's coming from, but I think the way they did it was fine, where they just kind of like moved right past it. Sulu
They
shows
show
up,
it,
his
they
husband
don't-
shows
yeah,
up.
they don't make a
They
big
have like
deal.
kind of a hug, and they move on. They got a kid. They don't like pull
They
a
don't-
lot of attention
yeah,
to
they
it.
don't-
They just keep it moving.
like Bones doesn't get off the ship and be like, well, damn, I thought it was in the
it's
girls.
just that Takei
like,
is such a huge advocator for the LGBT community or whatever the acronym for it all is.
yeah, you're right.
And so I just thought it was weird that he I'd be fucking honored if they
That's
adjusted
that's
a
my
character
thing. I
To
don't
make him
because
gay like you?
because I was so such a huge figure in whatever I was doing or whatever it was. I certainly wouldn't be like beat up about it. I'd be like, cool man, thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been offended. I don't know why.
Well,
And, I'm
he,
glad.
he fights for this, and he had to put up with the shit on the Star Trek show back in.
And I like how Simon Pegg came out and was like, I respect Takei's opinion, but I respectfully disagree on what he thinks of this situation. I think this was a just move. A move that we can show that there's this thing and it's not an issue, it's not a problem, it's showing diversity, even in major cinema, and it's reflective of what's going on in today's society. I don't get why Takei was
I just thought he would have been a little bit more appreciative.
I
guess.
agree. I thought he'd have been like, "Oh, that's a cool way to honor me."
Well, I think he's probably thinking that they're making a spectacle out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gay,
because I'm
and
gay,
people are
you're gonna...
Yeah, because it's a hot topic right now. So like they
Yeah.
put it in there to get gay rights advocates to go see the movie or something. That may be what he's thinking. Like I think the ultimate goal is to make being gay just okay, which it is. It's fine, and calling attention to it like that, it's almost like a freak show kind of thing. Like look, he's gay. Look at him. The guy's gay. And that may be how he's seeing it. The way it was portrayed in the movie definitely doesn't reflect that. But
Right. Well, like, okay, let's take after all the Harry Potter series movies and books were done, J.K. Rowling comes out and says Dumbledore's gay. Okay. Well, even though we didn't see anything about it.
Is that true? Did that happen?
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
that's the thing. And they come out with this one and they say, "Hey, Takei is gay. We're gonna make his character gay in honor of him, not in honor of him, to reflect him, whatever you want." If movies don't show it, that's not doing any favors. And I'm not saying you're doing a favor by showing it, but I'm saying if people see that this is just a widely accepted thing anywhere you go, everywhere you see, even in movies, right?
Even
Because
in
violence in
space.
movies plays such this quote unquote effect in real life on how people are viewed. Why can't something like this?
Maybe
and
it's
like I said, it was just brushed over. I bet if Takei watched this, he would be like, "Oh,
that's probably
well, you didn't
true.
make a spectacle of it." And even though Simon Pegg and them say we're not making a spectacle of this, he's still like, "Oh no, don't." Whatever, it's his thing. It's based
Well,
off
maybe
his
he wants
character.
to
He has
be-
the right to feel however he wants to.
Maybe he wants to be recognized for his acting, not his sexual preferences.
Could you be recognized for your acting? Has he done recognizable acting outside of Star Trek?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he feels like it's a joke. Like,
Yeah, no, I know. I was just joking
you're
about
not a
it.
good actor, but you are gay, so we can make money off of that.
We don't want you in the movie to play an older version of yourself, but we're
Well,
gonna do
I
you one better.
respectfully disagree with whatever Takei is thinking.
I agree. I'm with
George?
Simon Pegg.
So we're doing this to honor you, but we don't care what you think about it.
We are disappointed you view it this way because we had not that intention at all.
I think it's just all perspective. I
No,
think,
yeah, I mean, he's got
I think the
every
way they
right to
did it
feel
was
it.
tasteful and a non-issue, and whether or not he appreciates it doesn't really matter.
Thought it was weird. It's just. I mean, if nothing else, I feel like these movies are for them. I mean, they even had the OG cast picture in the movie, right, with him in it. And so I was. This whole thing has like been for you guys, and he's like, I don't like that.
If they show that, like him, like hugging his husband, boyfriend, whatever, and Crawl comes out and all of a sudden he's killing all the gays in Star Trek, then that's like, okay, you're
Then we have a
making my
problem,
personal
right.
preference an issue in the movie. That's one thing, but it's just a hug and not even a kiss, like hug, daughter, and I think you leave on John Sulu, young Sulu. You leave on him being like, oh, I missed you. I'm glad I'm home. Blah 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 blah. I'm with you, man. I'm with Simon Pegg. I disagree with what Sulu had, how he viewed that, but it's his opinion. I don't know, Derek. What do you think?
I don't know. I just think the original Sulu, George Takei. I think he's just like he's getting just, I guess, I don't want to say it this way, but he's getting butthurt about his character being messed with. More or less, I think he's more or less just getting mad at the fact that they're doing something with his character that's never been done before, and then they're just taking it in a direction. Because I think, movie-wise, I think they strictly had it in there just to show, look, like this is how it is, like there's diversity, like there's aliens, there's people, all this stuff. And I think he's just blowing it out of the water. He's just making a big deal out of nothing. His pride's getting hurt about his acting, and he's throwing a fit.
It's not like the movie was like, how will Sulu repopulate a planet? He can't because he's gay.
There was no dilemma.
Right. Like, I just don't think that it warped the character enough to cause a big deal of. I certainly thought it was a cool move for him. Like, I was like, nice. Get it, George. Get it, Sulu.
Yeah, it wasn't like they're like in the middle of a war and Sulu like hitting on like Anton Yelchin over there, like, hey,
he doesn't
what's
stop
up,
the
honey?
war to be like,
Huh.
I'm gay.
Like, Captain, I'm gonna put it in warp drive right after I get Anton Yelchin's number right here. Okay, so
They let him take over as
see you in that
captain,
chair.
and he turns on the comms. Attention, everybody. I'm gay.
Hey,
Thought you should know.
Speaking of getting it, though, let's talk about Chekhov for a second.
Yeah.
When they're kind of doing the beginning stuff, it shows Chekhov getting kicked out of that chick's room. At the end of the movie, he's already macking on another one. What a turnaround for that guy.
Seriously, Anton Yelchin nailed it as Chekhov in all three movies.
Yeah.
Let's give a big, quick Cinamen RIP to Anton.
Right.
Sinners,
Passed away
Sinners,
in June.
pause the episode for a moment of silence.
Yeah, because we'll know, right?
Thanks, Jeep. Bastards.
Alrighty, guys, good job. Thanks for that.
That was I felt that. I
It's real
felt
heartfelt in the studio. Anton, this one's for you.
this is to you. We dedicate this episode to Anton Yelchin, died at such a young age. Seriously, big loss in Hollywood.
Alpha Dog, Terminator Salvation, Charlie Bartlett, check him out.
Had so much going for him, and I think his career was, even though he's been in the game for a while, his career was just getting started coming off this franchise, and had so much more to offer. So, tragic loss.
Yeah. Most of the time when I hear about famous deaths, I really don't let it affect me too much. But he was definitely one of my favorite in Star Trek. You know?
I agree.
And if they do go on and make a fourth one, it'll suck not having him there.
And I think they said they're not gonna recast him.
Yeah,
they're gonna bring in Hemsworth.
They're not gonna recast him or kill him.
Yeah, there is going to be a fourth one apparently.
And he's just, I guess, gonna go his
They're gonna
separate
get
way.
Maybe
out
maybe
somehow.
they'll like Paul Walker it, like they did, kind of like CG his face and watch him walk away, kind of deal. Maybe something to that extent.
Or they'll just Alice Eve it and just give no explanation as to why she's gone.
No, they'll definitely give some kind of explanation. They're not gonna just
he's a
let
pretty
Chekhov
central
slip
character,
away.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they don't Will Smith him in Independence Day and say he died in like a ship crash or something, because that's
But Will Smith
Yeah.
didn't really die.
no. But Anton Yelchin really did, so I don't want them saying Chekhov died in a starship crash.
How did he die again?
He got crushed by his car.
Yeah, he got crushed by his.
So wouldn't saying he got killed in a shipwreck be more accurate?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say anything about
I
him
wouldn't
dying
say.
that
Yeah,
way
I
in
wouldn't
a
say. I
movie.
wouldn't kill him at all.
I'm not gonna say
Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna kill him off, but
that's like at the end of the Dark Knight. They're like, and the Joker all of a sudden in Arkham died by drug overdose, with the twin in there who had nothing to say, Mary-Kate and Ashley. Like she's like, oh, you want to go that far down Heath Ledger's path? That's that's. If Paul Walker's character in the next Fast and Furious movie dies in a car crash, I think that's gonna,
Well, no, there's some distasteful
exactly,
jerks
that's
up there.
In the old movies, he like a couple of the crew. They don't stay with the Enterprise after they do their 5-year mission. They kind of split up and do their own deal. Like I think Sulu gets his own ship, and Chekhov I think actually ends up going and joins like another crew. Ends up joining like another ship. And that kind of makes me
with
wonder.
all Russians.
With all Russians.
He's like, finally, I'm at home with some vodka.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't drink
Yeah,
vodka.
that's right. I guess he doesn't drink.
drinks.
I thought that was a great joke. Which one was that in?
That's the
Was
third one.
that was
They
the
make
last
that. What was he drinking?
Scotch, I think.
Was it just scotch?
Yeah.
And then like I thought it'd be vodka. That's so
thought it'd be
crazy.
vodka.
Yeah.
They did- oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because even at the end, he's like, when he's macking on that alien chick, he was like, yeah. And he's like, an old lady in Russia created scotch? Just like telling her the whole lowdown. Like, maybe that's how
Yeah.
he gets in.
Yeah.
He's just like, want to drink my scotch?
He's like, you want some of my scotch, baby?
Everybody really nailed those roles in those movies. Like Kirk, Star Trek 1, the bar scene with Ahura when he meets her and their exchange, and then that fight with those dudes, and then the way they bring it up in the second one.
What they say? There's 4 of us and 1 of you.
He's like,
yeah,
so go get some more of your friends.
It'll be a fair fight.
I did like how they keep referring to.
She's like, it says something about, do you have a name? And he's like, Ahura. And he's like, do you have a last name? That is my last name. Oh, do you have a first name?
Do they have first names where you come from?
Yeah. Like the whole exchange, and then they bring it up, and he's like, when you got your ass kicked in that dive bar, and he's like, what? He's like, you don't remember? And he's like, no, I did not get my ass kicked. He's like, that was an epic beatdown. And I was like, no way, man. He held his own against those dudes.
Yeah, I think Kirk was like, yeah, that was a good fight.
That was a good fight.
And it's like, oh my god.
That was so good, right? I loved it.
I noticed watching the second and third, well, I guess the third, they had a lot of the minor Starfleet crew members aboard the ship in the sequels too. Like the one instinctively that I noticed was every time Sulu took the con, like 2 more yellow shirts like came out of nowhere and like joined in. There was a bald African American lady who was a co-pilot.
Yeah.
And she was in both 2 and 3, and I just thought that was cool that they were bringing back smaller Enterprise characters because you've been on the same ship with the same people. So if we start seeing newbies, I mean, I guess you could have some newbies, but
In
I
1
just
and
thought it was
2,
cool
there's
that,
like a tall white alien, like who has like a standing con.
oh, like the android looking.
Yeah, he's kind of got
Doug
weird
Jones
eyes
looking
and
dude.
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So like, I thought, he's in both 1 and 2.
I just thought that was cool.
Do you think the rest of the crew's like, man, all these other guys are getting to go on these cool missions, and I'm just stuck here on the ship always?
I am surviving all of our ship attacks, all of our crashes, but those like 6 main guys up in that cockpit hull, whatever they captain says,
Pilot room.
the con, wherever he
bridge.
says, they call the chair the con all the time. Like, oh, the intercom. That's okay. I like how the chair is a big thing. Like
He likes that chair.
The
That
cap-
was a good joke in the third
that's
one.
his favorite chair.
Yeah.
Jayla's like sitting there, just like spread leg, like don't care. This guy's like,
Yeah, I really like when in number 2. I think he's like, Mr. Sulu, you have the comm, and like everybody watches Sulu like take the throne.
Well, someone even Bones even says something about it. He's not a leader, and then he just gets up there and
Sulu's a good man, but he's no pilot.
yeah, exactly. He's
He
no
just
captain.
sits down.
He's like-
yeah, he's no captain. Yeah.
Well, it says one of those crazy one-liners. He's like, he just gave him a whole deck of cards and asked him to bluff.
High stakes
He's like, "Are you
poker
mad,
game and
man?"
told him to bluff.
Yeah, and
I
then he just-
love Bones's.
His metaphors are
yeah.
like, and
They're great.
Enough with the
Quips.
metaphors. That's an order.
His first scene in the first Star Trek where he's like, my ex-wife took the whole damn planet in the divorce, everything except my bones. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like,
yeah,
this
right
guy
away,
right here, man.
took it.
This guy. That's
I asked Dad if he was at all like close to. I don't remember the original Bones' name, but if he was, if he was like that, and Dad very much agreed. So
he was like portraying Bones as the same as.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
weird.
because in the TV show, he acts like a lot how he does. And,
Like Carl Urban.
Yeah, because in the new series, they talk about how like him and Spock's relationship's kind of like rocky. That's how it was in the show too. They kind of had like an offbeat kind of deal. Like he was all logic, but he was all science, and they clashed quite a bit. But
I guess this follows a lot more. It borrows a lot more stuff from the show than I realized, and I know that I haven't watched the show, but I just thought they took the name, the concept, some of the characters,
ship's appearance.
yeah, the characters, some appearances, and borrowed it from the show. But it turns out that, like they
use a lot of this
stay
stuff.
close, or close in some aspects, also with some original creativity. That's cool. I guess I never thought about that. I might have to go back and start watching some of this. Just kidding, I don't got time for that.
It's only 3 seasons, so you burn through it pretty quick. But there
Is it only 3 seasons?
Yeah, the first the original series is only 3 seasons.
Oh,
well,
but there's
someone
more
to
than
wrap
just the
a
original
bank.
series.
There was another series, and then
Well,
It's like
the
original
Star
series,
Trek
Next
There's
Generation.
Next Generation, and then there's like Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, and they all take place within the same universe but different times.
And then there's movies on top of it.
well, yeah, then there's the movies, the motion pictures, and then the
From-
generations most
From
Next
what I've
Generation, all
been
their
led
deals.
to believe, it's every other movie is good, and I think,
yeah,
and I think in the old ones it was the even ones that are good. 1, 3, 5, or no,
2, 4.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, those were the good ones. And then it's generally, outside of this room accepted that it's the odd numbers that are good now.
Well, see, and that's the weird thing too, because like the first film, because like if you watch the TV show, the first film will make sense. If you just watch the movie just by itself, not knowing anything from the show, it's gonna be confusing as shit. Like almost none of it is gonna make sense. Because me and Travis tried watching it, and it was just like, what are we watching? Why are we watching this? Turn it off. It's hurting my eyes. And then you get to the second movie, which is The Wrath of Khan, which is essentially almost the same storyline, just little deviations from Into Darkness. It's almost the same damn thing. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with number 3 and so on and so forth. Basically from 2 all the way on, I think, until 6, it's like almost a continuous story. Like the first movie was just thrown out there, and then the second movie picks up after the first one, and then it just almost starts pretty much just like its own storyline.
Did all the Star Trek movies come after the shows, or do they intermingle
Yes.
with the shows,
The-
like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. style?
Well, the original series came out obviously in the I think 60s and 70s, and it had its run, and then I think the late 70s, it was like 78 I think or 79.
You saw Shatner return as
That's when he comes back that's when they started making the movies.
okay. Cool.
And then
Well, that's-
they had their run all the way up until I think they had 90s, and then Next Generation started up, the TV show with Patrick Stewart as Picard, and
Is that the one with Will Wheaton? Oh wait, he was on
Wes-
a TV
Wesley
TV
Crusher?
series, right?
I maybe
Will Wheaton.
who's Data. There's a guy named Data. He's like an android. I can't remember his name. He's in plays Oaken in Independence Day. Brent Spiner, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's in the Next Generation.
Oh really? With Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, with Patrick Stewart. There's actually Whoopi Goldberg and stuff comes on the show. There's actually a pretty big cast of characters. There's tons of characters throughout the show and tons of big names and big faces that come up.
So Next Generation, is that a completely different crew?
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's the Enterprise. Because, okay, the way the Enterprise ships work, there's, like, obviously, you saw at the end of the third one how, like, the first Enterprise ship got destroyed, and then they pretty much made, like another variation. Mm-hmm. It was, like, the Enterprise-A. In
that
the
was
original,
the ship they were building in the third one that they were talking about, right?
Yeah, that was the ship, the special edition ship. That's almost how it happens in the original movies as well. They get, like, a brand new Enterprise ship after theirs blows up. But, they basically what it is like after, since we kind of mentioned how like their ships get destroyed almost every film, it gets destroyed and it gets like a variation of like pretty much throughout the alphabet. Patrick Stewart is like he's in charge of like the Enterprise ship of like -F or -E, somewhere in the alphabet. He's like one of the variants, and he's running that ship. And it's like a newer crew, just a little bit further in the future, because some of the characters from the original series, movies and stuff, they come into play with that universe, but they're like real old. They're like 80s, like really, really old.
Do you get Shatner? Does Shatner show up with Picard at all?
Shatner
like
does end up. Yeah, they actually show up together in a movie, and it's actually I think it's their first movie that
the first Next Generations movie.
It's like Star Wars Generations is what it was called.
You mean Star Trek?
It was Star Trek Generations is what it was called, but it basically took the cast from Next Generation and mixed them in with a little bit of
the
original cast. But not you see them at the very beginning of the film, then you don't see them at all because they go into this event and they just disappear. Then you find out that like Malcolm McDowell's like this weird guy. He's like the villain of the movie. He ends up making some kind of like time travel deal, and he ends up picking Picard and puts him in Shatner's world, brings him to his timeline, and then him and Shatner work together to stop the villain, and they do, and that's where Shatner actually dies, because he got taken out of time wherever he was during the event after he was like a captain and all this junk. Gets taken out, brought into his own little world, and he was like oblivious the whole time. He just thought it was like a dream or something, and then he finds out that he's like, oh, this is real. And then he gets killed, and then that was literally the only on-screen time they had, and I think that's when they officially like killed Kirk. That was when he was done. They never used him again until they rebooted the series.
Well, I thought I heard Shatner had a real big problem with the first one not having him in it, like choosing to go with Spock over...
because they brought back Spock, and I think he was assuming they were going to bring him back just to be like a namesake, like a little cameo kind of deal, like a fun little bit, but his character technically is dead, so I don't see why they would. But in the same sense, they didn't bring him back at all.
You didn't need him.
Well, that was another thing too. Like Spock died in the original series. Like not in the movies, he died. In Wrath of Khan, he pretty much took Kirk's spot in Into Darkness, where he's like in that radiation room, dying from radiation poisoning. They switch roles in the original movie, and he ends up going to. This is where the Alice Eve chick, the Dr. Marcus or whatever, she actually in the TV show ended up hooking up with Kirk. They end up having a son, and they are like these scientists who are exploring. And they come up with this new like weapon. They call it a weapon, but it's not really a weapon. I mean, it kills whatever it does, but it's called New Genesis. You throw it on a planet, it creates life, so they can live on planets. Well, Khan was trying to get it to use it to destroy Earth, and so he hijacks a ship, actually the ship that Chekhov actually ends up running with, and ends up attacking the Enterprise. They switch roles, whatever. Spock dies, and then Kirk goes over to Khan's ship as Khan's coming over to the Enterprise, and then they blow up the Enterprise. And then...
Real quick, I was just thinking, does Alice Eve... Her character is in the old movies, right?
I think her whole character's in the old series, that's like his love. That's Kirk's love interest.
Okay, wait. So it's not Andy's mom from Child's Play. She was a different character in the Star Trek movies, right? Or is that Alice Eve's character?
I think she was in the TV series. I don't think
because she was in the movie with the whales. Which
one
was it?
That was they go back in time, and she's in the 80s.
So that's not Alice
that's
Eve.
not her at all. That's not her character.
Okay, I don't know.
That one was definitely really weird too. But,
it's like whales of all things.
Yeah, so they have.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So so after they do their bit, they shoot Spock's corpse off to this planet that they just shot New Genesis at, and like his body goes down there and like gets activated, and like rejuvenates and basically is born again. Like he literally starts as like a baby, and then grows up into a man, but rapidly. So he ages pretty fast, and that's what number 3 is all about. Like finding him and bringing him back to life and all this weird stuff. So it's definitely really strange. But that also, since they're doing it that way, it kind of makes me wonder if that's how they're going to try and bring back Kirk's dad in the new one, in number 4, because they're talking about how his character is supposed to apparently come back, even though his character's dead.
Well, we know they got to time travel because there ain't nothing left of him.
Yeah,
his ship. He went down with a ship.
But see, if they time travel, would they almost risk doing the same thing as they did with the Kelvin timeline, starting like another tangent?
Yeah, there's going to be 3 timelines at this point.
Then there'll be like too many. And I guess.
Well, 2 is too many. I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just
there shouldn't be more than one.
It's I don't know. Like if they were going to do it that way, I could see it. But they also talked about like using Borgs, which are like these.
Are these familiar in the Star Trek franchise?
Yes,
somewhere?
they are. They are essentially part of the next generation, though. That's why I don't understand why they would talk about trying to bring those guys.
So they're going to move into the next generation. Maybe.
They might be making that transition to kick in.
Get a whole new crew and.
Yeah, because I think the Klingon War. I don't think it even happened in the original series. After I watched the original series and the films, they don't even have the war. There's like battle scrimmages, more or less, and then at the very end of I think it's like. 6, the 6th movie or whatever, they had like a big Klingon deal, and then they became friends. And in the next generation, they actually start mingling with each other. They start living together. They start working together. Like Worf, I think is his name, Commander Worf.
Yeah.
He's like
from the Next Generation.
Yeah, he's Picard's like right hand security dude on.
Wait, what does he look like? Is he the dude with like the ridge line?
He's the
Klingon.
Klingon.
He's
that's what a Klingon looks like.
Yeah.
They're in number 2, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the things with the piercings.
They meet them like Ahura goes out and does.
Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. I totally forgot.
Basically, they end up like they bring peace to each other and they start working together. I mean, there's some factions I think of Klingons that are like trying to mess up their world, but other than that, like they end up like there's not an actual, Klingon War that I actually thought there was. There was always this talk, just never actually.
God damn you, Peter Weller.
Yeah. So now, if they're gonna go with Borg, they're gonna have to make that transition into like the next deal. Maybe they'll see Picard as like a young captain in like the academy.
Dude,
like, okay, we're gonna get my own shit. Like,
dude, casting a young Picard would be cool.
That would
like
be
bring him
cool.
into this somehow.
Yeah.
Like
they actually
that would
had
be
Tom
awesome.
Hardy. They had Tom Hardy play him in the last like Next Generation's movies.
Wait, what? Tom Hardy was young.
I thought he was the bad
young.
guy.
Well, he was a bad guy, but he was like a clone of Picard as like back when he was like in his academy days.
What was this? What was the last movie?
Nemesis. Well, the last
Star Trek Nemesis was the last Generations movie.
Yeah, was the last.
And Tom Hardy was in it.
That was the last Star Trek
movie
before they rebooted.
I guess you're right. But
Tom Hardy was in it. Yeah.
what?
He was very known.
No idea.
I didn't know it was him forever until I like looked it up and I was like, wait, what? He's in a Star Trek movie?
Was he more Bane or Mad Max or
he's
like neither. He looks more Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
he does look like Conor or
he's more himself.
that
just like a
Logan
normal-
Marshall Green. Him and Tom Hardy.
He does look like Logan Marshall Green.
Sometimes I think
Yeah,
maybe
the
he's Mad
doppelganger.
Max.
When we saw Prometheus, I was like, what is Tom Hardy doing?
Yeah, right.
Why is he not buff?
Why is he not
why is
beating
he
out
so-
right
Or
now?
why does he suddenly look like a scrawny nerd with sandals?
Like ever since he's done like Bane, he naturally just looks like he's not scrawny anymore like he used to be. Like you see him in his older stuff, he's like this scrawny little kid looking dude.
Well, even in like Inception, he's
He's bigger.
Yeah, he's
If
on
you've
the
seen Warrior, he is jacked.
Yeah.
yeah. Or look at Bronson, man. He's just
Bronson,
like a
yeah, he's huge.
meat house, man. Like
Yeah, he got like super cut for Warrior, became a shit brick house for Bronson, and then kind of mingled it in between for Dark Knight.
yeah, it's pretty scrawny as Bane.
I'd expect him to look even weirder soon. He's attached to the Elton John biopic.
See, that's
Heard
really
about
weird
that.
too.
Rocket Man. He's been attached though for like
Forever.
at least a year, maybe 2. It's maybe going through like a
You gotta worry.
maybe it'll be like Liam Neeson being attached to Lincoln for a freaking decade before, and then failing 2 years.
Dropping it
before
like
gets out.
literally like a month or two before like production was getting rolling. So that's why I was like, okay, Liam Neeson, thanks, you dick. But look at Sacha Baron Cohen dropped out of the Queen biopic, the Freddie Mercury biopic. Like,
Well, I had heard that one.
true, I heard it
Was
was
he
creative,
supposed to be Freddie Mercury?
Yeah, he was supposed to play Freddie Mercury.
but I heard he wanted to
would've been
play
awesome.
like a
Yeah.
raw, realistic Freddie Mercury type, and I think the studio wants to make the movie
He talked to the
less. What?
He talked to the band. The
Yeah.
band wanted, like, Freddie Mercury to be, like, half the movie, and then the back half would be, like, how the band moved on and stuff, and Sacha Baron Cohen was like, no, this is a Freddie Mercury movie. Like, it's just, yeah, it's Queen, but it's not...
It's not about.
It's not me
It's not a
starring in half
documentary,
this
yeah.
movie and then you guys prevailing in the second half. It is very much Freddie
It's not
Mercury beginning to end.
It's not a documentary about the band of Queen. It's
Right.
a biopic about me.
Right,
about
so-
Freddie Mercury. Yeah, I heard the studio wanted not to be as raw and real. Obviously, he had
I don't know why.
HIV due to
I think they.
They show so much on screen now. They just
and I think that too.
Yeah,
but it's like
Eazy had HIV.
true. But it's like the problem with making like a Walt Disney biopic is Disney is not going to want you to go down the turns out Disney was kind of a racist.
Well, yeah, but-
like he had I guess it was kind of a heavy racist. I don't really like they're not gonna if they ever allowed a movie to get made, they're gonna be like, okay, so we want you to just leave all that out. He's just the nicest guy on the planet. He made Disney Studios. No way.
Didn't they kind of make a movie like that?
Well,
I mean, they had-
made several movies kind of like that.
Tom Hanks was
Yeah.
him in,
nobody's played Disney though.
Well, not Disney per se, but like.
I guess Tom Hanks has.
Tom
but-
Hanks has.
no,
nobody
but
has
no
before.
biopic about
Not
Mr.
straight,
Walt Disney,
not
right?
straight biopic about him. No, he's just kind of like he was in.
No,
with-
Tom Hanks is like the first on-screen persona of Walt Disney. I thought.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm
he
saying
is.
there's no biopic movie about
But it's
Walt
not strictly
Disney.
about him. It was about him and the author of.
Oh,
Mary
Mary
Poppins.
Poppins, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Emma.
It was an okay movie.
Thompson.
It was dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thompson.
Oh, you saw it,
I saw it in theaters. Yeah.
and it was in.
Yeah, it was good, but it was
Saw
like
it in
a
theaters.
family movie.
I like Tom Hanks, but I think there's.
I like Tom Hanks.
someone
I
else
just-
out there for Walt Disney.
I think Jeffrey Rush.
Tom Hanks, I feel like, is like the highest caliber actor you could get, but as opposed to looks and bringing a new take on it, Jeffrey Rush wouldn't be bad. Tom Hiddleston wouldn't be too bad.
Like a younger one, like when he was in Kansas City or something.
Right? Yeah. Tom.
Oh,
Wait, what? He was in Kansas City?
yeah, dude. You don't know? That's how he came up with Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about.
you sort of
oh,
flipped.
I thought you were
it
talking
on
about Tom
us there.
Hiddleston, and I was like, why was I?
Yeah, I was like,
not
why-
told? I would have gone.
When he was younger, when he came from Mickey Mouse, he was here. That's
Right.
right. I figured when he
England to
was
come
younger,
to
he'd be here.
KC.
I think he was saying Casey's just
Come on,
full of
Derek.
rats and mice. Forget this place. Oh, hi, Mr. Mouse.
And barbecue.
That's right, and barbecue. That's true. And Maurice Green.
He's from Kansas City.
Maurice Green, the X fastest man alive.
Mo Green? No, he's not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up later.
We also got Ant-Man. What up?
Rob Riggle,
And Jason Sudeikis.
guy from Modern Family.
Pretty sure Don Cheadle is from somewhere around here.
Yeah,
Chris
I think
Cooper.
I think
Right.
he's not from. Yeah, he's like.
We've pumped out some stars.
Yeah, we have.
Eddie Griffin.
Is he from Kansas City? Man,
The Cinamen, they're from Kansas
the
City.
Cinnamon. That's right. Sinners, heads up. Look for our merch. Just kidding. We don't have any yet. Yet.
You could probably buy
Sinners.
some of my photos if you want or something.
I'll sell them to you. I'll give them to you for free. Nick might charge you. He needs the money.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge you.
He's in.
You think I
Thinks
just
he's
want
more
people
than he's
getting
worth.
my face?
I don't know, a few pennies each. I
Hey man, you gotta get paid for the
That's
job
fine.
you do. Okay. Just-
I think that'd be too expensive. I don't want to,
Hey, every few pennies you manage to get, that's a few pennies more than you had.
Well, just get a free picture from Chris and then draw a beard on it and some longer hair.
I knew this was coming from you. Good one.
Also
Moving
draw
on.
boobies and a tail to
Oh.
distinguish that.
You could draw a picture of a male to female sex operation and write Tyler on it if you wanted to.
If you want, you can do
You
anything.
can have a
want.
little blurry where it like moves when you. Oh yeah.
One of those like
3D
Like
motion
reflectors.
photo.
Yeah, so look out for that, sinners.
I'll buy one. I'm helping you out.
Thank you.
I'll put it on my wall.
Not paying tax though. Fuck that. You forget that.
Don't say that on the air.
Come get me.
That's okay. I'll just bump up the price and say that it's tax free.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they all do, anyways.
That's what they should do. That's without
Like this
getting
shirt
into
said
it.
$7.99 back in Missouri. Why is it $10.99 here? They're like, well, that's so weird.
But
heavy
but no
tax.
taxes.
Yeah, hey, bonus. And you're like, huh? I like your style. They're like, I know you do, sucker.
Might have an
Sucker.
idea there, Chris.
Right. But so out of 10, Star Trek Beyond. Around the table, I will start with Derek first.
Start
Out of
at
10,
nine.
and I want to. Oh, we already went through our order, right? First,
Yeah.
second, third.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of 10, Derek. Star Trek Beyond.
6.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really just didn't feel it in this film.
Wow, Sinners, hope you guys didn't like Derrick Adams being on the show. This is his
Sinners.
last visit.
Just crucify me, please.
Jeez. That was, wow, you really lowballed it there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like, it just didn't bring enough for me.
Oh, well, let me ask you, where are your other... This is the bottom for you.
Yes.
Where put the other two somewhere?
Into Darkness would definitely be the top. And then the first one would be second.
Out of 10, where are we putting
Out of
them?
10. Oh, well, the first one I would say would probably be an 8.5, and then Into Darkness be 9 for sure.
Oh.
9,
I like Into Darkness that much.
2 is 9, 1 is 8.5, 3 is a 6.
Yes.
Okay, Nick,
Horrible.
go you. Star Trek Beyond first.
Star Trek Beyond. I'm probably thinking. A part of me wants to say 6.5. I'm gonna say 7.
Ow!
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay.
I see the dirty looks.
The
the
owl
Cinamen
was
are
for
throwing
6.
out.
The owl was for 6.5. 7.
So
I'll take away
I'll
the
give
owl.
that a 7. I'll be nice. So the other two, I do think Star Trek 1 is probably better made. I think it probably outranks it that way. So I think Star Trek 1 gets a 9. Star Trek 2 gets, in my opinion, an 8. But I do enjoy the second one more.
So wait, 1 had a 9.
1 had a 9.
2 had an 8. 3 had a 7.
3 has the 7. Correct.
That's not too bad, I guess. Tyler.
Beyond, I'll go 8.5. Number 1, I'll go 8.5. I'll just put them right because I can't decide right at this point which is better, so that might change. Sinners, I like them both pretty much equally.
If
and
there was
then-
one like an 8.2.5, get it. Instead of
8.25.
8.5, it'd be 8. It's a joke.
8.2.
Yeah,
That was,
extra
I'm
point
good
there.
at math. That was a joke, guys.
I don't care how many points you put in there.
Nick.
Justin, add a right there on Chris's joke.
Whatever. Bunch of sin of haters over here.
And then number 2, I'll give a 6,
Man, okay.
which I did like number 2, but just nowhere close to the
Yeah,
other-
okay, I guess
the
I
other
can.
ones.
All right, well, I'm going to give Star Trek 3. You said you gave it an 8.5?
Yes.
I think I'm also going to give it an 8.5 because I give number 1 a 9, maybe a 9.5. I mean, one is up there with Iron Man where it's like the comedy, the action, the visuals, the directing, the script, everything about it was just so good. And number 2, like I said, I had a few story problems. I didn't think the humor was quite there. 2 is going to be at the bottom for me. So I put 1 at 9, 3 at 8.5. 2, I'm going to give like a 7.5. So
That's fair.
that's my official Cine rating.
Before we get out of here, last week I suggested Stranger Things to everybody. I know you finished it, Chris. Nick, did you finish it?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was good.
It was amazing.
I didn't enjoy the ending. But
I liked the what? Okay, I don't want to do spoilers on Stranger Things because I know Derrick hasn't seen it yet.
come on, Derrick.
But he will be watching it because we'll be watching
Or he'll
him.
be sent fired.
We'll have to put an episode. Maybe we could do an episode about Stranger Things.
I would already go through. I would start this week and rewatch it.
We're a movie podcast, but if we have all seen this,
Stranger Things is good enough to be a 7.5 hour movie. I think. Like it's just that good.
Series is a 7 hour.
7.5 hour movie. Game of Thrones is good enough to be so far a 60-hour movie. I'd watch it.
Oh, I would watch it.
I would watch it.
So you didn't like the ending? Are you talking about just like the very end or like the whole last episode?
Like how it ended, or like
Because the very last episode had like such a good scene with Steve. What's the chick and the other dude's name?
Jonathan and
And
Nancy.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
That scene.
I
You know
just
what scene I'm
didn't-
talking about?
I didn't enjoy.
With the Christmas lights going crazy.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. I just didn't enjoy 11's ending and the actual ending with Will.
I loved that. The
I
way they
did
ended
not.
it
I
with
was
Will.
like,
because that leaves it open for more. I mean, you know, I guess there was a little bit of a spoiler there, talking about what happens with Will. But I guess we didn't mention what happens with Will. So
we haven't dropped it. I'm just saying something happens, and I was like,
Sinners comment on Will.
no,
you've
don't
seen
comment
it.
on Will. People haven't seen it.
Just kidding.
Comment on literally any other character.
Go see Star Trek Beyond. Watch Stranger Things on Netflix.
Yeah,
Both
if
of them
you-
are definitely up the sci-fi field. So if you're a sci-fi junkie like I am,
And to be
shoot it
clear,
up. So
not a sponsor. Stranger Things is not a sponsor. Just literally the best thing I've watched, maybe in a few years.
it's a solid. 8-episode miniseries. It's really good. Definitely a lot of 80s throwback. So if you're a fan of The Thing and other awesome
Got a very
sci-fi
Super 8
movies,
feel to it.
yeah,
Sinners.
it's like
Another
Super 8
J.J.
meets
Abrams sort of.
E.T.
It's like Spielberg meets Stephen King meets the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I ran out of things. I thought I was gonna have 3 things.
if
I
the
only had 2
80s
things.
was a being, and King and Spielberg could like be friends with that being and make something.
if
That's what the Stranger Things
Spielberg
thing
and
is.
Stephen King got together and fucked.
And Stranger Things came out.
Yeah.
And it's funny that there's 2 Steven ideas that are coming together here. It's kind of like the universe is, maybe we're in our own little sci-fi movie.
Maybe we all should have been named
Steven's things.
Steven.
Ooh, Steven. Steven's things, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Steven Universe? Just kidding. That's a show on Cartoon Network. It's not that good.
It's. Yeah, you're right. It's
Right,
nothing
yeah,
good
it's-
about
Cartoon
it.
Network.
But you know what it is?
Whoa! Adventure Time. Come on, grab your friends.
The worst damn thing I've ever
Whoa!
seen in my life.
Whoa!
Yep.
I'm actually not an Adventure Time fan myself.
Almost, yeah, that's
Dude.
going 3. You guys
But
are outnumbered
you
on
gotta-
this.
Before we dive down that discussion, we already know it is good, and that's Star Trek Beyond. We have all spoken. We think you should get out there and see it. Definitely worth a theater viewing, I would say. Visually awesome. The new director takes it to a bold new direction where no one has gone before.
And I think it's worth noting that it doesn't feel like a Fast and the Furious movie.
It does not, and I was really worried about that. One of the only issues I had was sometimes it was a little dark, and I get that they're in places where it's dark, but damn, man, you couldn't even
you
see
mean
the
in, like,
set.
brightness?
Well, space is cold and dark. And,
I agree, but it was also really low lighting sometimes, and
you meant like
Alien
literally
versus,
dark.
Alien vs Predator Requiem. I swear to God, they just shot the whole thing in the dark, and you can't see
Pretty sure
anything.
they left the cap on when they filmed.
Yeah, like sometimes I thought that with this, the hand-to-hand fighting looked a little guerrilla
The
warfare in
cameraman
this
at
one.
the end's
Like
like,
just
oh
went
shit!
by
They're like,
so
what? He's like, no,
fast.
nothing.
Like
Fine, it's all
one of the
good.
things
Don't
with
worry
number
about
2
it.
is the
We'll
Spock
fix it in post.
and Khan fight,
That was pretty brutal.
and they just beat the shit out of each other. And in this one, the fist fighting went by so fast. I missed out on it, and I didn't like that. But go see it, and if you like what we're doing, make sure to comment, like, share this to all your friends and family.
Ratings, reviews, iTunes.
Definitely iTunes. If you have iTunes, get on there. If you used to have it but don't anymore,
Sign on.
reactivate it.
Subscribe. Sign on. Subscribe. Forget about it.
Yeah, there you go. All you got to do is subscribe and listen to the episodes and comment and like.
And share.
We'd like to thank Derrick Adams for returning for this episode. We had a good time. You're definitely the more Star Trek educated guy that all of us here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we always love having you, man. You're
Yeah,
a great
this is-
addition to the show.
This is good talks. Go out there and see Star Trek Beyond. It's fucking awesome. And as always, don't be a dick.
Support the podcast. Through your throat if you're not careful.
Quit being a chocolate starfish.
What are you
Yes.
Yeah, good one. Durst.
Well, yeah. Take
Get your hot dog flavored water out of here and take a big fucking swig out.
Does anyone actually knows what that means?